Welcome to another episode of the brand called You, a video and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Today, I have with me an entrepreneur from Assam who's doing some amazing things, Arindam Das Gupta. Arindam, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ashutosh. Thank you.
Thank you. Arindam is the co-founder of Tamul Plates Marketing Private Limited, the pioneer of Areca Nut Leaf Plates. He's also the co-founder of Dhriti, the Courage Within, which promotes entrepreneurship as a solution to unemployment. So Arindam, before we get into your two businesses or two organizations, what would you say are three key milestones in your life or your career?
I think the first milestone in my career is that I'm a first generation entrepreneur from my family. Nobody in my family has ever ventured into entrepreneurship before me. So that's a unique journey that I have led, and that too a journey of a social entrepreneur. And sticking to the guns for last 15 years, even after a lot of ups and downs. So that's something that when I look back, when I started 15 years back, and many of the people around me didn't believe in what I was trying to do. So that's one. Secondly, today through our work in Tamul Plates, we are supporting more than 5,000 youth and women, providing them livelihoods and sustainable income in very interior parts of Assam and Northeast. So that's a very important milestone for me.
Sure.
And finally, when we started this venture, even to do some normal production activity in these rural areas was a tough job. And today, from those villages, we are creating world-class products and exporting it across the globe to many developed economies. So that's
wonderful. So Arindam, now let's talk about Tamul Plates Marketing Private Limited. Tell me about this venture and what is the background of the name Tamul?
So Tamul basically is supari in Assamese.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So you get a lot of these supari and Areca nut, all three are same, supari, Areca nut, Tamul. So you get a lot of these Areca nut plantations across Northeast. And the biodegradable disposable dinnerware that we are making are from the sheaths that fall from the supari, from the Tamul trees.
Okay.
So along with the leaves, these sheaths fall, which are then heat pressed to make this disposable dinnerware.
I see.
Which is replacing styrofoam, plastic, these kind of disposables in the market. So this, and also in Tamil, what our model is of production by masses and not mass production.
Okay.
So we promote it in a way so that the value addition happens at the village, so that they get the maximum amount they can get from the product in various small units spread across the region, and then they are quality checked and sold across the globe.
So tell me about all the range of your products. You mentioned cutlery, crockery. What is the range?
So we have currently around 40 different varieties available. The basic range, if you say, we have the plates, dinnerwares, then we have bowls, cutlery, then we have now come up with delivery boxes. Then also we have the platters and trays. These are there. Then we are also coming up, we are using other materials also now. We have come up with a bamboo straw. We are trying to develop something from paddy waste. So that kind of multiple materials we are coming up now with the same theme of green dinnerware for the modern lifestyle.
Okay. I'm assuming that this is all biodegradable.
Yes.
Everything is. So environmental friendly.
Yes.
Wonderful. So, you were mentioned that 15 years ago when you started, there were lots of ups and downs.
Hmm.
Tell me some of your challenges as you built Tamul.
See, if you see the resource, though it was available, Areca sheets out here, but it was not looked at a resource. It was just going waste.
Correct.
So, in a way, the resource was new. The skills, people didn't know anything how to use this material, didn't have any skills. And the markets for these kind of products were also new 15 years back. People were not to kind of the kind of outlook we have towards biodegradable or green products now, it was not there. So if you went to the market, people were only perceiving it from one factor, its price. Okay, you are getting plastic or other disposables at this price, at what price are you offering? So it was all the three things were new. So it was really a Herculean task. And plus, choosing Northeast, where people generally don't come and do such kind of works, it had its own other challenges because the infrastructure was weak out here. We didn't have electricity or road connectivity in most of the places. And then the political instability of this region had its own challenges. So these were the core challenges that we faced.
Very interesting. And as someone who founded this whole thing, what were your thoughts as you suddenly discovered you could make disposable plates which were environment friendly? How did you decide to do this?
See, when I was studying in IRMA for my rural management, IRMA has almost a year of field work out of the 2 years of course. So I was fortunate enough to traverse across the country in my various field works, and especially from East India to West India. Though I had not come to Northeast, but from Jharkhand to Gujarat I had traveled. And I had seen the eastern part of India has a lot of natural resources. But it is still 15 years behind in terms of development than the western part of India. So there was not, though there are a lot of natural resources, not much work, not people coming and doing work, quality work out here. So that was my idea, that we would work on the natural resources available in this region. And obviously, when you study in IRMA, you are motivated by the Amul model. That's a real motivation. So we thought, what can we do with the natural resources available out here to create a sustainable commercial activity? It cannot be just a charity kind of work. It needs to be a commercial activity which can sustain in the modern markets and at the same time generate livelihoods for local communities.
Okay.
That was.
And do you have designers, etc., who are constantly experimenting with new shapes, new formats, or?
We don't have qualified designers as everything in Tamil has happened till now through what we call in India Jugaad technology. So I have a background of commerce, but I know that the first few machines that we designed, I was sitting in the workshop with one guy who is actually, when I came here, he ran a cycle repairing shop. But he had a great technical bent, technical ideas, and he has learned a lot seeing YouTube and this kind of thing. So with him, we sat in a mechanical workshop and designed our first machines.
Wow.
So that is the way it has happened. We don't have a lot of R&D budgets and all to, but yes, we take help from consultants whenever we can.
Interesting. And again, what is so special about the Areca nut leaf or the Tamul leaf that is not there in other types of leaves, which lends itself to the special formation?
See, firstly, I would like to clear, it's not the leaf, it's the sheath.
The sheath, okay.
The sheath attached with the leaf. Any kind of palm has this sheath. Even coconut has this. But in Areca, the advantage is the thickness is appropriate.
Okay.
That you can, it is thick enough to mold, and then after mold it is sturdy enough to hold the weight. And also you get a large sized sheets, so that you can make plates and large platters also from it. So basically, apart from this being biodegradable, it has a lot of other features. It is microwave safe, it is oven safe, it is very sturdy. There is no other disposables in the market which is as good for buffet kind of settings. Then you can serve hot food, you can serve gravies. So because of all these things, it's a very good utility product for the
Very
customer.
interesting. Very interesting. So, Arindam, when I'm much older than you, I'm 64 years old, but when I was a child, I remember in weddings, we used to get, plates made of leaves, which were stitched together with small pieces of wood,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And that they used to have katoris and they used to have glasses, etc. How is this different from that?
So it is in the same category, but because it's made from that sheath, so you don't need to stitch. It's made from a single piece, so it's much more sturdy, and the material is such that it is very attractive.
Okay.
It gives a very high class feeling.
Okay.
It is almost equivalent to a melanin or a melanin crockery, that kind of yeah.
Very nice. And if people want to buy your products, they go to your website.
It's available also on Amazon and other platforms, and mostly we are doing B2B business. We are selling to other channel players across India and exporting it from that.
Very interesting.
Regarding the product that you were mentioning, actually very recently in the last 2 years, that Sal leaf plates, we have also done R&D on that.
Okay.
Because we saw that this is a traditionally, we have been using these, but nobody has done work on it to upgrade the product. So we have actually set up, along with the forest department in Odisha, we have promoted some production units out there, and we'll be coming up with a range in that also.
Very interesting. But so one more question for you before I move, further. Indians traditionally don't like to dispose, right? Even our ball pens, we like to take out the refill and put a new one. How do Indians handle the high quality plates? Do they wash them and put them back, or do they throw them away?
Many of them actually wash them and put them, reuse it. In a way, that is also good. Ultimately, it is serving our goal of saving the environment. That is there. But again, the use of disposables in today's modern lifestyle is so high. For any, from small occasions to big occasions, it is all disposables being used. So it is very difficult, like in terms of demand. If some people reuse it, it's not a problem. When people use it in homes, but again, when you're using it in big events, you cannot reuse it. It has to be thrown. So if you use a biodegradable product, this product decomposes into the soil in 60 days. You don't need anything else.
Okay. And one last question. This is the age of the millennials and the Gen Zs. You're probably close to a millennial yourself. How have the young generation, which is inheriting our country, changing? How are they changing to plates like, disposable products like what you're making?
I think they are our biggest market, because this generation likes to party a lot. But at the same time, this generation is also conscious. They are ready to pay a little bit extra for a biodegradable product. So it matches with their lifestyle a lot. They will order food from outside, use our plates, heat it in the microwave, serve it, have it, and then dispose it without any guilt.
Wow.
And they will also order from places on online platforms, and also it actually suits that lifestyle very well.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So Arindam, now let's talk about your next venture, which is Dhriti, the courage within. Tell me about this venture and what do you do here?
Actually, Dhriti was the first venture.
Okay.
It's a non-profit.
Hmm.
Here, basically, we saw amongst the Indian youth
Hmm.
employment as the biggest problem
Hmm.
in its various formats, whether unemployment or underemployment.
Hmm.
And the solution that we saw was to promote entrepreneurship and to promote entrepreneurs.
Hmm.
That's the only way you can tackle that.
Correct.
But what we also saw that our education system today, it has much changed, but 15 years back it was such that you promoted job orientation.
Hmm.
The understanding was you do your studies and then get into a job.
Correct.
And the word entrepreneur was not so popular at that time. The word was businessman.
Hmm.
And businessman was either a panwala or a kirana store in your neighborhood or a Tata builder.
Correct.
There was this whole range in between that was not seen.
Hmm.
And businessmen were also seen in a very negative connotation.
Correct.
All Hindi film villains were businessmen.
Hmm.
So that was the year. So we thought it's important to change the mindset, and that is where Dhriti has done a lot of work in promoting entrepreneurship as a career option
Okay.
amongst youth.
So first, tell me what does Dhriti mean?
Dhriti also means courage,
Courage,
in
okay.
Hindi.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So
And-
that was the key requirement that we saw, that courage to start.
Very nice. And give me one or two examples of people who you have supported to become entrepreneurs.
We have worked like if you see, we have worked with large number of women entrepreneurs through Dhriti,
Hmm.
both rural and urban.
Hmm.
Then we have earlier when we started off, we did school workshops.
Hmm.
So at that time, though they didn't become an entrepreneur the next day or the next year, but due to the workshops that we did, today, even 10 years later, they have started their enterprises and got back to us and said the path that you showed during that workshop, that ignition that you provided, helped us to do take up entrepreneurial activities.
Amazing. And what are the areas? Say, give me one example.
So it spans over many things. There are IT entrepreneurs, there are tourism entrepreneurs, there are
Okay.
brick and mortar production activities across the year.
Very
We have
interesting.
not focused on any particular sector. We focused on the attitudinal part of being an entrepreneur.
Very interesting. So I'm going to now move to the last segment of our conversation, which are some questions for you personally, Arindam. My first question is that, someone who's building such an amazing social sector company or organization and has an NGO and is at an amazing stage of life, as you stand here today, what does success mean to Arindam?
I think for me, the success, like if I take Tamil Plates or the various other ventures, these should be able to operate without Arindam one day. Without Arindam, these should be able to operate at a sustainable level at a larger scale. So that is what success means to me.
Okay.
And that is what I am trying to achieve.
Okay. And a follow-up question to that, Arindam, is who or what inspires you?
I think I spent my childhood in Jamshedpur, where I have seen my parents have worked with the Tatas. So I have seen what the Tatas have done to that city, to that community across here. So I think people like JRD Tata really inspire me. Then also my studies in IRMA, where I have been able to interact with Dr. Kurian. So that these people have really inspired me.
Amazing.
In
Amazing. I've got time for two more questions for you. My next question is on failure. I've often said this, that parents in India don't teach children it's okay to fail. We are always told, including me, many years ago, that you have to be first in class, be first in the line, etc. Yet and that manifests itself in our behavior patterns, which is why in Delhi, for example, you have 9 cars at the traffic light. Everyone wants to go first, right?
Yes.
Yet we keep failing and we learn. So my question to you is, Arindam, what is your biggest learning from some of your mistakes?
Yes, as you said, when I started off 15 years back, it seemed very easy. Okay, you need to connect 3-4 dots. These are the areas, and if you're able to connect, then things will work out. But we soon came to know that there are 10 more problems after that. And you are bound to make mistakes. You are bound to fail. The very important part, there are 2 things that I have done. Very important part is that failures will happen. It will keep on happening, mistakes, but you should not repeat those same mistakes.
Okay.
You should learn from that, and you can make another mistake, but not the same one.
Okay.
Number 1. Number 2 is, as you said, it is very important to make an ecosystem within your organization and within the larger community that where failures or mistakes are acceptable. One example I keep on sharing, that in India the basketball courts are cemented. So that's why we don't get good basketball players, because they don't jump high to dunk, because if they fall they will get hurt.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go to US, they are synthetic courts. When they fall, they don't get hurt, so they keep on trying. So that ecosystem we have to provide, that soft landing we have to provide when we fail. So that's
very well said. I love the example. Thank you. And my last question to you, Arindam, I mean, you are an entrepreneur. You support so many entrepreneurs. Based on your learnings, what would your advice be to a young individual who's starting off on their journey as an entrepreneur?
I think the most important part is one should not fear from trying. What we tend to do is we tend to negate good ideas that we have because of fear of this failure or losing. But if we negate that fear, then we are able to kind of go ahead and achieve a lot, and actually really use our talents and skills. We have a lot of talented youth who are wasting their talent in doing, maybe working for jobs that do not use their talent fully.
Very interesting. Arindam, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure speaking to you. I wish you, Tamul, and everything else that you're doing lots of success.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for having me on The Brand Called You. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to The Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for The Brand Called You.